Earlier I demonstrated how you can use different parts of your body as a tool to effectively attack certain targets or defend against an attack. Now what we're going to do is explain how you actually execute these as single elements. We discussed a palm heel being an effective tool. When you execute a palm heel, you want to keep in mind, first of all, that it's good to train with equipment. Practicing in the air is good for form. However, to feel the resistance of a target, it's important that you train with equipment. So the first movement, palm heel strike, you want to make sure, as I said, keep your knees slightly bent, okay? Stand a good posture over your center of gravity, not past your head, past your knee. In this position, your hands are up. Okay, you turn your body. The power will come from your body. If you execute simply with the hand, there's nothing behind it. So you want to use body torque. The hands are up. Press the fingers back, straight in. And you drop into it as you strike. Okay? You can execute a palm heel strike with the rear hand or with the lead hand. Doesn't matter. The lead hand is not going to be as powerful, but you want to think of using the lead hand to set up the rear hand. So if I use a lead hand to set up the rear hand. Okay, let's try that from a different angle. Okay. Once again, knees slightly bent. The rear hand, still using my body. Okay. You can also use your elbows to strike. And elbows can be delivered in different ways, either horizontally, diagonal, or vertical. Starting with the horizontal elbow, the hands are up. The elbow is for more close quarter. If you're out far, it's not practical to try to throw an elbow unless you can use your palm heel to close a distance. However, isolating it as a single element, the elbow, again, you turn your body. You don't want to just use the arm because it's not as effective. Okay? The power comes from your center using body torque. From this position, when I execute my elbow so that I can use it in close, I just pass the back of my hand across my face in this position. I don't want to open it up real big because then I make contact with the forearm. So from this position, and I retract it. It's also important, even when executing a single element, that you recover. If I stay here, go too far, I've opened myself up to be hit. So I want to make sure that as I strike, I come back and I'm ready. Okay? Horizontal elbow. If the person is taller, I don't want to execute a horizontal elbow. In fact, when you do a horizontal elbow, you don't want to go higher than your own shoulder. If you go higher than your own shoulder, then you can injure your own shoulder. So what you want to do is, if the person is taller, then the elbow comes up and over. In a downward motion, so it's more of a diagonal in this position. Once again, I turn the back of my hand so that exposes the elbow, then I recover. You can also use elbow with the lead hand if I'm in tight. So when I'm going to use the lead hand to elbow, the same thing. Again, using my hip, otherwise there's no power here. It's just my arm. You have to use your entire body. Just like that. Okay. Using a horizontal elbow, in this position, you turn using your hips, using body torque, and recover. Okay. Going with the lead elbow. Again, the lead elbow strike becomes almost like a left hook. In order for you to have more power, you use the body torque of turning your hips. Again, if the person is taller than you, then you want to bring the elbow over and down, more of a diagonal elbow. Recover. And the nice thing about using your elbows in this manner is if you're in close, you can execute an elbow effectively, even here, vertical. You just lift up or over. You don't have to be far away. These elbows can be effective in tight, too. When practicing your leg kicks, especially the low-lying kicks, it's good to practice in front of the mirror, so that statically until you develop your form. However, it's very important that you use equipment. If you don't practice kicking something, it's a whole different scenario when you actually kick a physical body. Your timing is going to be different. If your balance is off, you're going to end up on your behind because you're not used to kicking a solid target. So it's okay to practice in the air, but it's also very important to practice with equipment. So if I'm kicking using a shin kick, which I referred to earlier as more for the street, kicking low, I want to make sure that it doesn't have to be real pretty, but it has to be effective. And effective means using your entire shin in your body and thinking in terms of fluid shock, which means I'm focusing beyond the target. I'm not retracting it. I'm not retracting it. What I'm doing is I want to just kick it and let the retraction, the recovery is after I've penetrated through the target. So from this position, again, keeping my hands are up, I can reach to counterbalance, to protect. Okay, opposite side. My targets could be the outer thigh, okay, right above the kneecap, inside of the kneecap, okay, and again inside of the other leg. It doesn't matter what position the person's in. If you can access the target, you just kick it. Okay? So once again, when you're working on equipment, you want to make sure you practice getting your entire body into it. And recover. One kick may not be enough, so you have to be able to continue to kick or continue to use other elements if necessary. So if I kick once and he's still there, well then you just kick again until you stop him. Or go into some other element. Okay. With that, okay. Other parts of my body that can serve as very effective tools are the knees. Okay, we talked about using your knees to defend yourself, but how do you practice them without beating up your training partner? One of the ways to practice is by utilizing the mitts. And when I'm training, right now, my partner becomes my trainer, okay? His objective is to push me and to keep me moving. Okay? But also, when I practice the knees, I can either kick, move in, or just as a single element practice, okay? Hooking behind the neck, and it's very important that when you work on the knee, on executing a knee strike, that you hook behind the neck as opposed to grabbing the shoulders. If you grab the shoulders, you can lose a person. So you want to make sure that you interlock your fingers and press your forearms tight so that you can also control in this manner. Okay. So from this position, I practice. I can go slow at first till I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. Okay. Just either practicing a single knee or alternating. Once again, I don't know what position I'm going to be in, so I have to just be able to keep kicking and kicking and kicking and even controlling him different way. Kicking, control, kick until I get the response that I'm looking for. Okay? So it's very important that you train with equipment. When practicing on these tactics, one of the things that you can do is get yourself a pair of focus mitts. Notice that I said focus mitts. That means that these are to develop your accuracy and to develop just your mechanics. Okay, the kicking shield is for power, so what you can do is get a training partner and work even at home. However, it's important that you learn how to hold these, because when you hold the focus mitts, the front of the mitt represents the face. Okay, the front of the face. The side mitt, if you hold them both up, represents any targets on the side of the body. So, for example, so if you hold the targets too big, that's a really big head. Okay, you want to think of holding them realistically. So my partner right now is almost assuming what we call defensive, well, a fighting stance. Okay, so his hands are up, and he's actually working on something. He can work on, well, he's holding the mitts for me. He's working on a stance on keeping his balance. Okay, so the front of the mitt represents the front of the face. The side represents the side of the face. So you want to hold it as close together as possible so that it's a realistic target. Combining some of the elements that we were working on earlier, we talked about using a palm heel, maybe an elbow strike. Well, we know that in most situations, one strike is not going to do it. So what do? Do you disengage and go, oh my God, now where do I go? No, you continue to move. So it's important that when you train that you work on combinations. And for example, some of the single elements can be combined. We can go maybe palm heel to elbow, throw a kick in there, whatever. So, for example, we go palm heel, elbow, elbow. Okay, maybe we want to throw a leg kick in there also because we might go high and then we go low. So we go palm heel, elbow, elbow, kick. Okay, so you can do a lot of things. I can go palm heel, he comes in at me, elbow with the same lead hand. It doesn't matter, palm heel, you just react. You react or double it up. Maybe then if you move back, go for the leg. Okay, okay. Again, go for the leg. Okay, you can go for the front. Okay, and the front leg, rear leg. You practice, and you can make this into an interesting drill where your partner can just place the targets in different positions, and you're also developing your reflexes because you don't know where the target's going to be. You just have to respond to it.